Yes?
What are you doing?
I'm reading Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2. Hello?
Okay, I can see that. But clearly, we're supposed to be filming. Remember?
I guess we should be doing that.
Yes.
Well, okay, since I've been rudely interrupted from my comic book reading.
Sorry.
This is Geekgazm in the Dragon's Lair. This is Jess. I'm Elisa. And we're missing.
Of course you're missing somebody. You're missing the dragon of the Dragon's Lair.
Hello.
That was an expensive couch. Oh, yeah. Hey,
Well,
I'm Dragon from the Dragon Slayer. My section will be later. But first, what are we talking about here?
Today on Geekgazm with special guest Dragon in the Dragon's Lair, we're going to talk about binge watching.
That's it.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of opinions on binge watching.
Yeah.
And I mean, everything is in some way valid. But we're going to go through all the different opinions of binge watching. So, Jess, you want to start us off?
Yes.
All right.
First of all, I feel like binge watching is a cultural thing that's been happening. And it's actually defined as watching 6 or more episodes of a series in succession. So you don't take a break. Maybe you take a break to go to the bathroom. But, like, that's literally all you do. 6 or more episodes, bam, you're a binge watcher. You've done it once in your life. Don't lie. We all have.
We've all done it. I've done it.
Have you done it? What do you binge
Yes.
watch?
Well, okay, I have binge watched multiple shows. But, well, like, a good one that I really, like, was very addicted to and watched all the time was Breaking Bad. It's a great show.
That's a popular one. I hear a lot of people binge watching.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't really catch on when it first started. And then once it got as much attention as it did, then people started to binge watch. I was one of those people.
Fair enough.
I myself, kind of guilty. I kind of can't watch a show or binge watch a show that is not like a comedy or not animated or something like that. So, basically, I binge watch shows like Reboot and Robot Chicken. But that's pretty much it. So what would happen is I have this cycle of during the winter, I would binge watch one series and be like, okay, that's it. Good. Next year, it happens again. It happens again. It's an endless cycle. And I have I go the next year and I tell myself I'm not going to do the same cycle.
But it just happens.
But I'm like, oh, episode 1. Oh, Enzo, you're so funny. He's not funny. He's obnoxious. But yeah, I still love it anyway. Like, it's Reboot.
So you binge watch the same show every year?
Pretty much.
You don't like
So
pick a
you're
new
a
one?
seasonal binge watcher.
Yeah, I think I'm probably worse than the average binge watcher because I don't even try something new.
Yeah.
binge
Just goes
watch-
back to the same thing.
Yeah, so like you spend like it's like a scheduled time, and I don't even know why I do it. I just enjoy it, kind of. But what like
It's one of those things that just doesn't get old.
No, of course. Jess, what's the thing that you usually binge watch?
That's a good question. I'm sorry, Elisa. I've been completely ignoring your messages for the last 7 days.
I literally am lonely.
Hey, buddy. I haven't seen you in a long time.
I just finished House of Cards.
House of Cards, man.
I haven't seen the outside world in 7 days because I've been binge watching Chicago Fire and Chicago PD, and I've been ignoring all of my calls, just completely ditching my social life because I am a dedicated binge watcher.
Yeah,
But,
it's true.
yeah.
I can confirm that
Vouch for that.
because I send Jessica Facebook messages and it's like 10 hours later and I'm like, oh.
I think your last one was, "Are you alive?" Like you know that we have a show to do, right?
So, okay. Speaking of binge watching,
Just bring it back in again.
let's just center it.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you binge watch,
Yeah.
does this automatically mean you're gonna eat more also? Because like you're just sitting in front of your TV or your computer, just constantly watching something. Are you gonna sit there and like eat a box of cookies too? I don't know.
Actually, and I binge watched for science and research. This did not happen on purpose. I did it for you guys.
Purely scientific.
It was all research.
She doesn't even like the show.
No, I love the show. So actually, to be fair, yes, binge watching does cause you to eat more.
Oh,
but
yeah.
in general, when you watch TV, you're not watching what you eat. So like you can
Also
so you
true.
eat faster and you eat more because you're not paying attention to it because you're watching what's on the screen. So that's in general. But binge watching is literally you watch your program of choice and you don't take a break, so you're more likely to graze and munch more. Like, and you're more likely to pick something that's not necessarily healthy for you.
Yeah.
And studies have linked binge watching to chronic illnesses like type 2 diabetes and high cholesterol and stuff like that.
Also highly depressing. Another thing I find that binge watching does is like normal television watching. You can't stop what you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you like plan your whole diet out and be like, okay, well I'm gonna make myself a nice small bowl of chips. I'm gonna eat that, and then when I'm done, I'll go to the kitchen and get them back. You can't just stop the show when you're watching normal television. But with binge watching, you're watching it online or on the TV, and you have the pause button. And you watch it throughout, and then you're like, oh, I'm out of snacks. May as well go back upstairs, get that whole bag of chips. Maybe we'll finish those barbecue chips. I love them. And I'll be good. And I'm like, oh, I'm done. Well, I got another bag of chips upstairs. May as well eat those as well. And if you eat 2 bags of chips in a day.
When I binge watch, there's always like a full cup of something and a bowl of something. Like it's always there. It's like eating because you're bored.
Yeah.
But now you're eating because you're watching something. Like when you go to the movies, you eat popcorn. You have a drink and you have popcorn because it accompanies the watching process.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when you're home.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's like a conditioning thing too, though, because like if you eat stuff while you're binge watching, you're more likely to go to the movies and spend like a whack ton of money. So it's like they're conditioning you to eat more and spend more and not be a very smart consumer.
Yes. Very
just
true.
A consumer. A massive gaping maw of just snack foods and pop. It's just
That's a great way to put it, Dragon. Just shovel it all.
just shovel it. It's like a Kirby thing, just going in your mouth and just and it's like a tornado.
You become like
a monster.
a vacuum of TV and food.
Yeah.
It's like it's I guess it's not that great for your body.
For your health, but also, like, I mean, have you ever considered watching TV while you do the treadmill? Like how, or the internet. You can use the internet through streaming services. So how do you guys binge watch?
I have done it a couple of different ways. I started off using the internet because at this point I didn't have Netflix. But I watched all of Heroes when Heroes was a thing. I loved Heroes.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
But I watched all of Heroes on the internet, regardless of having to wait for each episode to load. So they had like 5 tabs open because I know I'm going to sit there for 5 hours and watch every Heroes episode.
Yeah.
So, like, there's tabs loading.
Yes.
As I'm watching the first one, it's like, 2's ready, 3's ready, 4's ready, and I'm like, yes, hour after hour, like, pressing play.
Which is very proactive of you. Good job.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was pretty, like, well thought out, my plan. And then after that, if there's any show that is still not on Netflix, then I watch it online. But Breaking Bad, for the most part, was on Netflix, so I watched it there. Because you don't have to really wait. You don't have to wait for it to load, really.
Netflix is pretty solid that way.
And a lot of the times the quality is better on Netflix than it is anywhere where you can find it online.
The series together.
I think you can buy episodes on YouTube though now, or like movies,
Oh,
which is weird.
that's
Like I
true,
feel like Google is trying to like take over the world, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Google, I thought you were my friendly neighborhood search provider. Like,
Google is my best friend.
What up, Google? Electric outlets look surprised. Why?
Because
Millipedes 10 times faster than centipedes? Baby powder made out of babies?
you know that it's not.
Welcoming Google as our overlord with open arms.
Will you follow me? One last time.
If the world
Overlord.
becomes as it was in the WALL-E movie, I'm just like, kick ass. What's that? I don't have to go to work. I can sit on the couch the whole time and eat weird slurpy things that's just flavor. Sign me up. I'm okay with that. I know it's dystopian future and this and that, but it's a future I can look forward to.
okay, I feel like our friendship is maybe having some problems.
I feel very afraid to be in the middle of this right now.
I feel like dragon is just scary right now.
Jessica,
Yes,
how do you binge watch?
that is a good question. I do it a lot of different ways, but I find, like Dragon said, he's a seasonal binge watcher. I find that it is easier to kind of stay on top of a show and stay interested if you binge watch it. Like I've had, because we all went to school together, and during exam times and stuff like that, it's easier to just kind of let the episodes pile up and then decompress and binge watch and be like, oh my god, that was so like relaxing and nice. But there is recent research to show that binge watching does contribute to depression, isolation, and feelings of loneliness.
I'm just wondering, like, maybe in terms of depression, do you have to already have some sort of like depression in order for that to affect you in that way?
I think
I feel like there has to be already like a
base,
a layer
basis
of
depression
Like a
to start.
trigger.
Yes.
Like there was a trigger and binge watching is the result.
There is the one thing that I'm thinking about that could be very depressing is when you've just discovered a series, like for example, let's say now you've discovered Breaking Bad and then you've watched it through and then you're like, oh, the series is done. They'll never make new episodes. I'm so looking forward to this. I love this series and I love watching these episodes, but now I know for a fact it's done. I binged watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. The Aang part is awesome. Horror part is pretty good. Like I don't like it as much, but like it's like, oh no, you got a silver medal instead of a gold. Oh, wow, life's miserable for you. Anyway, so I binge watched it until the end of season 1, and I was like, oh, that must be it. They're never gonna make another one. I was actually really sad about that, and then I recently heard that they've made new episodes. So
oh, happy
another
times.
thing, not to totally just be like, oh, it's all about me. Guys who made Reboot, the hell, what's the deal with season 4? Like, you ended the episode on a complete cliffhanger, as in, like, Megabyte comes back from the dead and is just like, oh, now it begins the hunt. And then that's it. Darkness, nothing happens. And they've been promising us a reboot of the series for, like, 7 years.
They've
had 7 years.
It's been a long time.
They've had this one trailer, and they're just like, oh, here's Reboot again. And they haven't done anything about it.
Yikes. There's no way to hold on to your fans reboot.
No.
Take note.
But the thing with that is that Netflix has kind of jumped the gun, I feel, from every other series because it puts out seasons, everything comes out at once, like Orange is the New Black and Daredevil. So would you rather have to go back to watching things on a week-by-week basis, or would you rather have the entire series laid out for you? Because technically, or not series, but season, because technically, watching the entire season would be considered binge watching. So would you rather have the traditional way of watching shows or the Netflix way?
Where you have everything, like you have a whole series at the end of the year.
Yes.
Okay.
I like it the original way. And that might be the unpopular vote, but I like the idea of how, like, in some shows they leave it at, like, a very suspenseful situation. And then it sort of takes away a little bit if you can just put on the next episode. It's like, you didn't have to wait, you didn't have to worry. Sometimes your favorite character is, like, bleeding on the floor, and you're like, oh my god, like, is he gonna live? Is he gonna die? I don't know.
I'd rather the month, not the month by month, the whole series be put at one time, as Netflix does it.
Yes,
Gotcha.
which is actually, it makes you part of a statistic.
Yeah.
Because binge watching is gender neutral, but they did find that males within Dragon's age range were more likely to binge watch.
72-year-olds seem to like watching MacGyver. Wait, is MacGyver a real show? Is it the Simpsons show that they made fun of?
Yeah, MacGyver was a show that was on before I was born, so I mean, you're out of luck. Where I think you would fit into this category where if a series is done, you would go back and binge watch the entire thing if it was available as on a streaming service, so you didn't have to wait for it. The second kind of binge watcher, which I kind of feel that I fit into as a category, is that people are too impatient to wait for what happens next week. They want everything like right now. They want all those twists and turns, but I do agree that, you know, you need some sort of suspense and excitement. It makes the show feel like it lasts longer, and it makes the conflict seem more important as
That's
opposed
true.
to being resolved right away. And then the other two types of binge watchers, of course, are people that binge watch because they are laid up due to sickness or injury. Ouch. If you
Fair.
are one of those binge watchers, sorry,
Our
but
condolences.
also
Wait, is that the right word?
yes,
Yeah, okay, good.
condolences.
I use words and I think
Sympathies.
I'm fancy, but I'm just like, oh, our congruencies.
You keep using that word, but
I don't believe you understand what that word means. You know.
yeah, exactly, from The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Right? Or people that the show has already ended, but they want to watch it again.
Right. Like what Steven does with Reboot.
Yes.
Yes, again and again.
Yes.
As you may call it, wait, that doesn't make any sense. I've never heard about Game of Thrones. It goes exactly like this, cut and paste. Blah, 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 thing on Game of Thrones. I say, oh, that sounds cool. They say, have you watched Game of Thrones? I'm like, no. Or, sorry. They say, have you watched that thing of Game of Thrones? I'm like, oh, no. They're like, do you watch Game of Thrones? No. You should watch Game of Thrones.
Well, that's all we have for Geekgazm today. We will see you again next week. Thank you for watching, and thank our super awesome camera girl for being mysterious and awesome behind the camera. And happy binge watching!
Or not, considering that it's linked with feelings of isolation, hopelessness, and depression.
Exactly.
Guys, it's time for my flash training!
Woo!
There she goes.
gone.
She's fast. All right. Well.